Alright, today, August the 28th, the entry is called the Opulent Stoic, and the quotation is: "The founder of the universe, who assigned to us the laws of life, provided that we should live well, but not in luxury. Everything needed for our well-being is right before us, whereas what luxury requires is gathered by many miseries and anxieties. Let us use this gift of nature and count it among the greatest things." Seneca, Moral Letters 119.15b. Even in his own time, Seneca was criticized for preaching Stoic virtues while accumulating one of the largest fortunes in Rome. Seneca was so rich that some historians speculate that major loans he made to the inhabitants of what is now Britain caused what became a horrifically brutal uprising there. His critics' derivative name for him was the Opulent Stoic. Seneca's response to this criticism is pretty simple. He might have had wealth, but he didn't need it. He wasn't dependent on it or addicted to it, nor, despite his large bank account, was he considered to be anything closer to Rome's most lavish spenders and pleasure hunters. Whether his rationalization was true or not, or whether he was a tad hypocritical, his is a decent prescription for navigating today's materialistic and wealth-driven society. This is the pragmatic instead of the moralistic approach to wealth. We can still live well without becoming slaves to luxury, and we don't need to make decisions that force us to continue to work and work and work and drift further from study and contemplation in order to get more money to pay for the things that we don't need. There is no rule that says financial success must mean that you live beyond your means. Remember, humans can be happy with very little. I think this is quite an apt teaching for us who are living in today's modern society, as the entry alluded to. I didn't know actually that, I did know that Seneca was one of the rich Romans. I think it was Epictetus who was a slave, if I'm not mistaken. But that's also something that we know about Stoicism, is that, people from many different cloths were the founders of it. But coming back to this quotation of today, again, very relevant. We definitely live in not only a very wealth-driven society, an increasingly consumeristic, materialistic, and throwaway society, I think. There's so many things out there that are marketed to us that we honestly have no need for. This, strays a little bit from the discussion about wealth itself. But it's more so just about the sheer amount of junk that we think we need that we absolutely don't need. But this quotation, again, makes a very, very good point that, hey, there's another quote, I don't know who said it, but it says, more than you use is more than you need, and a burden to the bearer, I believe. Hopefully I've gotten that right. More than you use is more than you need, and we have to ask ourselves, how many times do we buy things or use things or strive to have things that we honestly don't really need? I mean, we're all, most of us who live in, the Western society, or, middle-class societies, even in non-Western countries, we are so spoiled, and we think we need so many things, or we convince ourselves that having these material things will equate to us being happier. And we know time and time again, many people, celebrities, for example, we know that money does not equate happiness. However, I do think, and this potentially goes slightly against Stoic teachings, you need some money, of course, right? Like, if you're going to live in society and engage in society, you need a roof over your head, you need clothes on your back and food in your stomach, right? So to pretend that money has no value, I think, is foolish and naive and, not rooted in reality for most of us. But I think it's about, to what degree, right? And it's about not living beyond our means. For me personally, the way I see it is, I don't want to go without if I want to buy something, or, I want to spend money on a certain item or go to a certain restaurant. I want to be able to do that, and I will do it. But the reason that I can do it is because, I don't choose to do it very often. I have moderation, or I try to have moderation. I'm sure I could have a little bit more, but I try not to live a frivolous life where I'm just blowing and throwing money on things that I don't need. But of course, I think it's also important from the perspective of being happy and being comfortable, and just having a healthy, being in a healthy mental space, um, to have enough money to satisfy your needs, because of course if you're living hand to mouth and you don't know where your next meal is coming from, or you know you don't have clothes on your back, or your clothes are falling apart, that's also going to seep into other aspects of your life, where if you don't have your basic needs met, you're obviously not going to have your higher needs met either. But I think most of us, well, maybe not due to like rising inflation on, like ridiculously rising inflation on food and the basic needs. But putting that aside, I'd say most of us do have most of our basic needs met. So this quotation that we've read, that we will read again, is very apt to us, and for us to remind ourselves, when we're buying something, or when we think we want to buy something. I think also it's like often very compulsive, right? Impulsive, sorry. Um, where we don't even think. We say, "Oh yeah, like we'll buy it, we'll use it, we want it," right? And we give in to our wants so easily. And I think that's another teaching of Stoicism, which teaches us, or urges us to be mindful and disciplined, right? And when we allow ourselves to buy things that we don't need, or to eat, for example, more than we need to, um, it's a lack of discipline. And many of the teachings of Stoicism, and I mean, it's not just Stoicism also, right? These are basic teachings that are easier preached than lived, but they're very much interrelated. Right? In this case, we have discipline, which is interrelated or related to the not having the desire to want more than we need. So I think a lot of the teachings, a lot of the basic ways of living, actually stem from very few key core values. And then maybe that's actually something to explore in like a different series or something. But yeah, let's get back to reading the quotation for a last time. The founder of the universe, who assigned us the laws of life, provided that we should live well, but not in luxury. Everything needed for our well-being is right before us, whereas what luxury requires is gathered by many miseries and anxieties. Let us use this gift of nature and count it amongst the greatest things. Alrighty, that's it.